Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. We finally made it to Friday. Or, as I like to say, asterisk on Friday. If you know, you know, but we are live and shit. We are live and shit. Today, talking about Alexee Trevizo. True Crime Beat has some breaking news for all of us. Is everyone on the edge of their seats? True Crime Beat got her flu shot yesterday. Everybody? It should have been asterisk on Friday, True Crime Beat. So happy. So happy you got your flu shot. Did it hurt, True Crime Beat? Where'd they jab you? Do you have a bruise? Do you have a bruise or anything? Do you have to ice it? I'm glad you let everybody know that. Thank you, True Crime Beat. Good morning, baby kisses. Absolutely love True Crime Beat. We bust each other all the time. Good morning, Comrie. Well, let's take a second and tell everybody good morning. Are we finally over winter? Because I am. The minute I take down the tree, I'm like, done. Time to get on to the Easter Bunny. Let's get to that. All right, let's tell all our favorite friends good morning. Happy Friday. Hola. And we have a couple of sick puppies, literally. Our friend Just Me is taking her kitty to the vet. Her kitty just totally stopped eating. We always want to make sure that our fur babies are taken care of. And our friend Diana, she is also a moderator. Her puppy dog, who's 13 years old, isn't doing good. So we're going to send some get well wishes to our friends and their fur babies. You know, that's the craziest thing, not to be grim, but after we bury a loved one, we don't walk around and say, no more humans for me. It's just too hard for me. We don't do that. But when it's our pets, it's like, no way. I will never have another pet. Forget it. It's too hard to lose. They're too hard to lose. You know, we've all said it. And then next thing you know, you've got a black cat ruining your show, or trying to, about Madeline Soto. This happened yesterday because he's mad because there was a stray cat in our yard. I can't make it up. You never know. You never know. Our friend Retro, she lost a puppy right before Christmas, broke my heart. We know True Crime Beat, she lost her pet, her bird, several months ago. And she kind of started saying, I don't want to go through that again. Well, now she's got a bird that she won't let me talk to because I've been trying to teach it how to cuss. So that's how life goes. All right, speaking of cussing, I have a lot of cuss words to say about Alexee Trevizo. We have a full playlist about her. She went to the emergency room, failed to tell them she was pregnant, and basically lived in denial about the whole thing. Even though she knew she was having a baby boy, she had already named the baby boy, she had already done all these things, but she presents to the ER with back pain. She is so guilty just with what she has said. Now I'm going to show you a few pictures, okay? Would anyone doubt that she is pregnant? No. Her friends were feeling her belly. Mr. Boyfriend and her were still knocking boots. He knew that this is not a Big Mac belly, like they kept trying to say. They know what's in there. They know what's in there. Of course they were still getting it on. You can see she had the baby in January of 2023, I believe. True Crime Beat, was it 2023? January 2023? Okay, so she bounces right back. They go to the prom. People are putting this all over Instagram, the TikTok, you name it. Mind you, they go to the prom knowing that Alexee killed their son. She was in the hospital. The hospital. She wasn't on the side of the road. She wasn't on a camping trip. She had an entire staff of medical professionals right outside that bathroom door. And she failed to tap on the door, something's going on in here. I've just had a baby. Can you help? No. She put the baby in the trash. She put the baby in the trash. Well, she was released on bond after being arrested. $100,000 bond. Whoop-de-doo. She was allowed to attend her high school graduation. I'm sure that gave everybody all the feels. She will not have an ankle monitor, and she doesn't have to be under house arrest. She can go as she chooses. But she is required to attend counseling. I'd say both her mom, the boyfriend, and the boyfriend's mom all need to be going to counseling. Because I'm telling you, I don't care. They were all huddled up at that ER because they believed she was in labor. They did not all show up because she has back pain. No. Well, the trial, justice for the baby, has been in somewhat of a limbo. Okay? But things have changed thanks to the New Mexico Supreme Court. This is from News West 9. I imagine they have had a gut full of Alexee and her mom. This was from several months ago. Things have changed in the last month, but you have to look at the legal maneuvers they are pulling in order to keep Alexee out of jail. She needs to be in jail. I was talking to DT Driver, my husband, about this morning. I said, she's a psychopath. I do not believe that she's fit to be in society. I don't believe society is safe with her out there. She acted like an animal in that bathroom, biting off her umbilical cord, wrapping up her baby, putting that little beautiful baby in the trash. And then she's like, I got scared. I didn't know. It wasn't crying or nothing. It wasn't breathing. She knows better than that. And then here comes the autopsy. The autopsy revealed that the newborn did not have any physical abnormalities, or injuries at birth. It was observed that air was present in his lungs and stomach, suggesting that he was born alive after 38 full weeks of pregnancy. The autopsy indicated he had been suffocated. When witnesses at the hospital talked about the plastic bag that was around him, he was trying to breathe. This is ridiculous.
high-profile case that took the nation by storm. Alexee Trevizo is a now 20-year-old woman accused of killing her newborn baby inside of a New Mexico hospital back in 2023.
Accused? She did it. And there are rumors, lots of rumors, that she's pregnant again. Okay, look at her at prom. Look it on the screen. See how she bounced right back? That's Alexee now. Look at that. She's shopping at the Walmart. She has put a lot of weight on. A lot. And many are wondering, is she pregnant? True Crime Beat first shared this. And of course, I snatched it from her. That's what friends do. People were going after our friend True Crime Beat, who got the flu shot yesterday and has a sore arm today. Blessings for you, True Crime Beat. And they were saying that True Crime Beat was fat shaming. No, it's a legitimate question. Hey, if she's packed on some pounds, she's packed on some pounds. Looks to me like she could be pregnant. Okay? Looks to me.
Her trial was initially slated for yesterday. Instead, there's no saying when she'll face the jury. Lilybeth Weiss joins us in the studio tonight. Lilybeth, many are wondering what's going on with this case.
Crystal, right now there's a legal battle over what evidence the jury in this murder trial should and should not hear. Based off of these documents, prosecutors recently asked the highest Supreme Court in New Mexico to weigh in. You may remember on January 27th of 2023, Trevizo was taken to Artesia General Hospital complaining about severe lower back pain.
Yeah. Complaining of severe lower back pain. And by the way, back labor sucks. Sucks. But she failed to mention that she's pregnant. They figured it out. And as they're waiting to confront her and her mom with the news, she's in the bathroom giving birth and wrapping her baby in a garbage bag, cleaning up, ripping her own cord, biting it, whatever. She goes and hops back in the bed like nothing happened. Didn't even mention, hey, when I was in the bathroom, I had a baby. And think about the grandparents. Look at her mother. Look at her stepfather. Look at the boyfriend's parents. How come these parents are not furious that their grandson is dead?
While she was being evaluated, she went to a hallway restroom. Prosecutors say she was in the restroom for an extended period of time. And when hospital staff entered, they found a dead newborn baby in the bathroom's trash can. Hospital staff contacted Artesia police and a death investigation began. News West 9 has obtained exclusive video of the body cam moments after the hospital discovered the newborn.
What did you do to it?
Okay, stop right here. Stop.
What did you do to it? Now, my husband dislikes the grandma here worse than Alexee. What did you do to it? I don't even call my cat an it. Okay? Then she's like, Lexee, baby, we've talked about this. You know, when those girls have babies and kill them? What did you do to it? I would have been a bawling mess. I want to see my grandbaby now.
What did you do to it?
Okay, stop right here. Stop. Number one priority, guys. Number one priority is she just had a baby. I don't know if she's delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly. I've spoken to the obstetrician.
Nearly 2 months later, an autopsy determined the baby found in the trash can had been born alive. Trevizo was taken into custody during May of last year, but was released shortly after on bail. Fast forward to July of 2023. The judge for the New Mexico 5th Judicial District Court filed orders in favor of Trevizo's defense.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Last July, New Mexico judge filed orders in favor of her defense. They claim that her comments in the hospital room cannot be used in court due to HIPAA. This is a criminal investigation, my friends. All statements made in the hospital room that night were tossed. Well, they had to go to the Supreme Court, and we still don't have a trial date, but we're back on track. They have actually had the balls to say that law enforcement should never be allowed in an emergency room. Are you kidding me? People come to the emergency room for many, many, many things. Women present and they have been raped. Of course, the police have to be there. Children come in with injuries that can't be explained. Child abuse. Of course, they have to bring the police in. Gunshots, stabbings, hit and run, car accidents, you name it. Who the hell are they to say law enforcement can't be in the ER? This is one of the most absurd defenses I've ever heard, and we've heard a lot. Okay, we've heard a lot.
Who argued comments Trevizo was accused of making in front of hospital staff, as well as video footage of her taken inside of the hospital room, could not be used in court, as according to them, it was in violation of HIPAA. Everything Alexee Trevizo said inside the hospital room that night was tossed out. Now to July of this year, a district attorney with the state of New Mexico appealed the 5th Judicial District Court's decision that suppressed some of the key evidence it intended to bring forth, challenging the court's order and asking the New Mexico Supreme Court to overrule the order. Prosecutors argue that HIPAA does not prohibit medical providers from disclosing information to law enforcement when a crime is suspected to have.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, they're investigating a crime. We've watched many trials together, have we not, my friends? We've watched many. We've seen many doctors, nurses, psychiatrists, you name it, on the stand. The medical portion is huge. Huge. This HIPAA bullshit has to do with people at the doctor's office and people at the hospital not going and blowing their mouth saying, oh, I was working the desk the other day and I saw Lucy come in and she had some kind of weird bump on her lip. Yeah, I think I figured it out. You know, it's because her husband works out of town so much and she's had some very strange visitors. But yep, she came in. She's got a weird bump on her lip. That's what it's for. It started with the AIDS pandemic. They didn't want people going out saying this person has AIDS. But hey, good try.
Having had been committed inside of the hospital. Right now, there's no saying whether or not the state Supreme Court will review the district's attorney appeal. In the meantime, the initial trial date of August 26 was completely removed off of the docket, and a new date for Alexee Trevizo's trial has not yet been set. News West 9 will continue to follow this case for you.
Still no trial. We don't have a trial date set. I know True Crime Beat's following this. She has a lot of coverage about it. Check her out too. So last month, in December, the New Mexico Supreme Court officially accepted the amicus briefs from parties outside of the state of New Mexico. All right. The most recent approved documents were filed by Professor Song from the American Civil Liberties Union. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Very good point, Wist. Wist said HIPAA is not meant to hide evidence. Very good point. Nobody violated her civil liberties. Nobody violated her constitutional rights. She's accused of murdering her newborn baby. Come on, New Mexico, get it together. And they want national police accountability because they're saying that the police shouldn't have been at the hospital. On what planet does that make sense? Again, we're back on track. We are. Because the case is proceeding. Again, this is from News West 9. We just don't have a trial date yet.
Hello, everyone. I'm Crystal Cruz. New details tonight on a court case against a then teenager from New Mexico. Alexee Trevizo is accused of murdering her newborn baby inside.
She was 18 going on 19. She's 20 years old now. And I still wonder if her and Mr. Boyfriend have another baby on the way. Because, well, look at her. This is not the freshman 15 they talk about when you start college. No.
At a New Mexico hospital. News West 9's Lilybeth Vias joins us tonight. Lilybeth, this case unfolded back in 2023.
That's right, Crystal, and it's faced some legal battles along the way. Alexee Trevizo was 19 years old when she went to a hospital in Artesia, New Mexico for what she said was back pain. After using a hospital bathroom, staff later found a dead newborn baby inside a trash can. As I mentioned before, the court case has faced legal battles, including a challenge from the plaintiff, or the state of New Mexico in this case. Back in July of this year, it asked the state's highest court to step in and reverse a decision made by the lower court that tossed out some of its key evidence, including law enforcement body cam footage taken inside the hospital with Alexee Trevizo. A jury trial meant to determine Trevizo's fate was slated for August 26th of this year. However, that date was later removed off the docket. Fast forward to just a few weeks ago. An order from the New Mexico Supreme Court could help move the case forward through the legal process. According to court documents, one of these most recent orders came down this month, accepting perspectives in a legal document from experts in groups like the National Police Accountability Project, the American Civil Liberties Union of New Mexico, who raised concerns over the legality of law enforcement inside emergency rooms. In its response,
I'm looking down to see which leg they're pulling. The hell? The legality of law enforcement in an emergency room. How do you investigate a violent crime unless you can go into the ER or the hospital room and talk to the victim? Come on. This is insane.
The plaintiff, or the state of New Mexico in this case, made arguments against the briefs, including voicing the case does not implicate any problematic concerns about the presence of law enforcement in emergency rooms. Now, why does the recent order matter? Perspectives in these legal documents are now a part of the case and could be considered by the state of New Mexico's highest Supreme Court. According to the docket, a pre-trial date has not yet been set. Alexee is being charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence.
Oh, she certainly did tamper with evidence, and that evidence was her son. Bewitched. What a cool name. Bewitched. And look, her avatar is a witch. Police go in the ER all the time. Yeah. In my neck of the woods, they're basically camped out at the ER or the Quick Trip getting free coffee. Thank you, Rainbow. It was a crime scene. She made it one. Of course they have to go. Wist said, who called the police? The hospital. They did. They're like, we need an officer here. We have a crime. We have a crime. Now, this attorney weighed in. His name is Attorney John Phillips. He was on court TV. Some people agree with what he's saying, some people don't. You're the judge, you're the jury, you tell me.
Talking there with the doctor and with her mother. Now, a judge at the trial level did grant a defense motion to suppress those interviews because of the custody nature of the law enforcement officer being there. But the prosecution has appealed that to a higher court. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists and the National Police Accountability Project, they also sent in their own amicus briefs to the court. So those briefs were wondering, could it tip the scales and result in a decision, and more importantly, a trial date in this case? Let's bring back in to discuss criminal defense attorney and civil attorney as well. John Phillips is with us. John, so in a situation where you have an appeal, in the middle of a case going to trial, we often think about appeals being at the end of a case.
Okay, yeah, they're already filing appeals. They're doing everything. We have a question. Jessica Johnson, hello. She said, did they not hear the baby cry before she came out of the restroom? He wasn't crying. I'm going to assume he probably needed his throat cleared out, or maybe because she wrapped him up so fast he couldn't. I don't know. Either way, he had no business being in the trash. None. And don't get me wrong, they have a huge lawsuit against that hospital. Think about that. How disgusting that is. These people are traumatized by what happened that night. Traumatized. Everything from housekeeping that found the little baby in the trash to the doctor that was overseeing Alexee in the ER to multiple nurses that were involved. Multiple nurses. They are traumatized. This is not something you're going to take a webinar for and be prepared for happening on your shift. They're preparing for all kinds of things, but not that. And the question is, Britt, she said, I'm assuming she made sure he was not alive before she left that restroom. I'm wondering myself. I'm also wondering how much help she gave him to make sure he wasn't alive. Because she was all about hopping back in that bed, going home, pretending like nothing ever happened. In her evil, feeble mind, she just assumed they were just going to pick the trash up. It goes to the incinerator. And that's it. No, she didn't even try to get help for herself or her son. No, none.
But here, they haven't gotten there. But because of this ruling by the judge in the pretrial stage, the prosecution wants those admissions in. Your thoughts on them trying to get those in at the pretrial litigation stage?
This is both a horrible and a fascinating case. You know, you've got a girl who was in a bathroom for 20 minutes. The hospital workers talk about how bloody the scene was after. And, you know, the question from the state side is, you know, there was air in this baby's lungs when she was born versus, you know, Alexee's lawyer suing the hospital and claiming she should have never been on the medication.
Okay, hold on. We have a question from I'm Not Buying It. She said, how come there was no restroom in the delivery suite? Because she wasn't in the delivery suite. She went to the emergency room for back pain. Through blood work and everything else they did, they figured out she was pregnant, as if they couldn't tell by looking at her. So no, she hadn't made it to the delivery suite yet. She made her own delivery suite. She went to the bathroom. She delivered her son in the bathroom and put him in the trash.
Medication she was on, and they failed to treat her. So, you know, and then you've got police coming into a room where you've got somebody treating for severe back pain, but also now, a childbirth of a stillborn baby or a baby that was killed. And all of that wraps up into the Bill of Rights and, the right to both incriminate yourself, be Mirandized, but also literally have a doctor standing next to you who, and you're a 19-year-old girl and you're making confessions in front of your mom. And so, it's a fascinating case when you get into, doctor-patient privilege and waiver and what police can do inside a active, emergency room. And so,
I get where he's coming from because he's a lawyer. They'll read between any line. When you see the video of her holding her ass, running down the hallway, she knew she was giving birth. She was crowning at that time. Her rights were not violated. I have watched every body cam, some of them several times. She was talking. She wasn't even really being asked questions. She volunteered these statements. She said to her mom, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. That in itself is an admission of guilt. You get a jury of 12 and 4 alternates, and even if one of them has had a child, they're going to understand what she is saying.
When you have all these issues, you have cases like this where the OBGYN, think tanks are weighing in, and the ACLU certainly are weighing in related to this girl's rights.
Oh, yeah, you're so right that there's so many layers to this case because of all of the people involved. You've got HIPAA violations and constitutional rights that are at stake. Let's go back to that moment that you mentioned where she's in the hospital room with her mother. There's police body cams rolling and a doctor also present.
How big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months? Nothing was crying. Lexi, have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail? Nothing was crying.
So
Sickening. Lexi, do you watch the news when these girls and when they kill their babies? Nothing was crying. Nothing was crying. And she's not crying. She's faking it. She wants to go home. She wants this done over behind her. She wants to go to the prom. She wants to get ready to go to college. She wants to put more stuff on her sides so she can be rid of stretch marks to go swimming in the summer. She wants to heal up. This is not a HIPAA violation. No.
Well, my question, John, is do you think they need these interactions as far as the prosecution? They have the medical evidence. They have the testimony of all of these doctors who afterward they were interviewed about what they saw at one point, when they didn't see her, when she was in the bathroom, when she didn't respond, when they were knocking on the door trying to figure out what was going on in that bathroom, the blood all over the place inside. Do they really need to have these interactions where a police officer and a doctor are present?
And I know every good prosecutor, every good police officer is going to fight for the best evidence they can get in their case. And when you have essentially a confession and some really hardcore admissions on tape, you want to introduce that to the jury. But on the same token, you don't want to do without it, because this young lady is going to get a lot of sympathy for being 19. The defense is going to say her brain wasn't fully developed.
Okay. He's saying, hey, Jinbug. Hey, Mama B. He is saying, this attorney, that Alexee is going to get a lot of sympathy from the jury. I'm not seeing it that way. Who on here? Meerkamp already answered. She said the hell she is. Has any sympathy for Alexee? Who? Or her mom? And this goofball is saying she's going to get a lot of sympathy from the jury because she's 19. Her brain's not fully developed. She was scared to have a baby. She didn't know what was going on. She knew there was a baby growing in her. Jinbug said, I hate to say it, but she's going to get away with this. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not going to be surprised if she gets away with murder. I'm telling you, I'm not going to be surprised. I don't want it to happen, but I'm not going to be surprised.
And that she just didn't know and didn't have, again, healthcare in America didn't have, she was one of the 2,400, I think, women that have babies after a full-term pregnancy. I think the state wants and needs this video to come in. But again, the problem, is the invasion of rights and privileges that come with it.
Mm-hmm. The invasion.
This guy's an idiot. This guy's a total idiot. Healthcare in America. I don't know about you ladies, but every time I would go to the hospital and give birth, they put my son in a bed with a warmer, wrapped in blankets. They didn't say anyone got a trash can. This has nothing to do with healthcare in America. This guy is an idiot.
Privacy for sure. Let's go back to these interviews, though, that all of the medical professionals did with police, which may raise some HIPAA issues as well. But we know what has been suppressed is her interaction with her doctor. But let's take a listen.
She put the baby in the trash can, and then she put another clean liner over the top of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it was underneath the clean bag. The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Yeah. How old was the baby?
I don't know. It's full term.
It's full term. She put the baby in the trash can, and then, of course, he's wrapped up. Her baby's wrapped up. Then put another trash bag on top. The housekeeper said, who's used to picking up trash out of the bathroom, and it's full of paper towels and things like that. She said it was unusually heavy. Well, yeah, he's a full-term baby. He's a full-term baby. He was almost 8 pounds.
It's just so hard to hear the details, John. You mentioned that the ACLU has weighed in, the OBGYN think tanks, as you call them. They filed these amicus briefs, which literally means in Latin, the friend of the court. They're just submitting these briefs so that the court can take into consideration these stats and the issues and the problems that they say there are with the state being able to use that evidence. Just how compelling do you think these amicus?
Miss North's musings, you are so correct. There are, unfortunately, people that walk amongst us in this country. I've had to argue with a few of them. This case in particular, who they believe that a full-term baby can be aborted as well. No, absolutely not. She knew she was giving birth. That's the reason she was holding her ass cheek and running down the hall. That had to have been immense pain. Immense. She gives birth in the bathroom, and all she had to do was crack that door and say, I need help. Pull the cord. Pull the cord. They'll be right there. She had been in that bathroom for so long. They were getting ready to break in. They were getting ready to break in.
amicus briefs are going to be to a high court there in New Mexico?
You know, it's a question that I think all lawyers that handle appeals want to know. You know, I know appellate judges read them and their law clerks read them. And in this one, you know, it's not surprising, and I don't mean this disparaging on the ACLU. Actually, it's a compliment to the ACLU. I don't always agree with them, but they always weigh in on human rights. And you know, again, you have a 19-year-old who made a horrible mistake, and you know, you can, but I think the state can.
Is this a mistake? A mistake is accidentally backing into a mailbox, or mowing over a stick in the backyard, or dropping something and it breaks. You know, spilling milk. She made a horrible mistake. No, she hid a pregnancy. She's in full active labor. She goes to the hospital, and even though she is in a hospital bed, and all she has to say is, I think I'm having a baby, they would have put her in a delivery suite and everything would have been fine. And then she could have dealt with it and said, but I'm not equipped. I don't want to raise my child. I wouldn't have judged her for that. Would any of you? I wouldn't have judged her, because that's actually doing the right thing. Speaking of doing the right thing, look at that. Paper Slut just gifted a Crime Lines and Lies membership. Way to go. Thank you, Paper Slut. No. Mistake? I don't like that.
Prove it without some of this. And then, you know, the main issues here that we're addressing, like the interview with the doctor, this is a treating physician who owed her privacy. But on the same token, he's almost being interrogated as an expert witness who gave the opinion that she caused her child's death. And there's lines that should be suppressed in that statement, and probably lines that shouldn't be. You know, it's going to be fascinating to watch.
Oh, you're so right that can be very compelling to a jury, even if that doctor isn't an expert.
I'm not compelled for shit. No, I'm not compelled for shit. But look at this, Walking Dead, who's new here every day. Look who's having a birthday tomorrow. Walking Dead and her daughter. Let's take a second and tell Walking Dead and her daughter happy birthday, asterisk, on Saturday. Happy birthday on Saturday. Kind of like what we did for Kat last week when I had the date wrong and we just kept saying all week, happy birthday on Friday. Saturday. Walking Dead, I had no idea that your daughter was born on your birthday. How sweet is that? That is amazing. Well, happy birthday to you, Jocelyn. Are you going to have any dance moves to put on Facebook? I like when you put your dance moves on. All right, back to Alexee, because I don't give a rat's ass when her birthday is. I only care about her son's birthday, as far as this case goes.
Trevizo was born on November 25th.
This is from the Misery Machine. And I love how they put this together.
2004 at Seminole Memorial Hospital in Texas to parents Guadalupe and Rosa Trevizo. Now, according to reports, Alexee's father beat her mother while she was pregnant, and the couple later separated. Rosa, too, had troubles of her own. Between 2004 and 2009, she had several arrests for theft by check and assault.
Look, I'm not about domestic violence at all, at all. But I could see Alexee's dad beating the fuck out of someone when she was forging checks, car titles, hit and runs, you name it. She taught Alexee how to lie. Look at her. This is Rosa. Rosa is way behind all of this.
Rosa, too, had troubles of her own.
Yeah, look at her. Her and Alexee look just alike. She taught Alexee how to lie and get away with things. Okay? This isn't genetic. This isn't something passed down. She watched her mom in motion for years.
Between 2004 and 2009, she had several arrests for theft by check and assault. Eventually, Alexee's family relocated to Artesia, New Mexico. At the time of our story, Alexee was a 19-year-old high school senior 5 months away from graduation. Now, when you think about high school life portrayed in movies and the media, you can't help but think of some of the stereotypes that go along with it. The nerds, the jocks, the stoners, the cheerleader who was dating a football player. Alexee Trevizo was that girl. Alexee had been on the cheering squad for at least 3 years. Her boyfriend, Evan Fierro, was a member of both the baseball team and the football team. And like many couples portrayed in the movies, they planned to go off to college together. Their pair were both enrolled at the New Mexico State University in Las Cruces for the 2023 fall semester.
And Devin went to New Mexico University. She had to do like distance learning because of a massive petition from the students saying they didn't want her there. They didn't want her on campus. Uh-oh. DT Driver's making an executive decision. He said he wants to do a members live this weekend. You all up for a members live this weekend? Might even put OJ on. Rainbow said as if he didn't know about the baby. Yeah, think about that. You know they were still getting it on. You know they were knocking the boots. You know they were. He knew she was pregnant. And you done screwed the pooch when nobody wants your ass on campus.
First half of Alexee's senior year, she began to put on weight. She claimed this was because she had started taking birth control. At least that's what she had told her friends. Due to this weight gain, she also began taking phentermine. This is an appetite suppressant known by many brand names, including Apodex and Profast. According to
her mother got her the phentermine. Her mother got her the phentermine. Now, I want to talk about this because there was another case in Nebraska where a woman, kind of like Rosa, gave a lot of medication to her daughter to force a miscarriage. I believe the Adex, the weight loss medicine that she was taking, was to force a miscarriage. Just my opinion. I can't prove it. I can't prove it. But I think it was to take care of this big belly in another way.
the Mayo Clinic, this is a prescription weight loss drug used for obese patients. Though there are no public records confirming or denying if Alexee had a prescription for this drug, it seems unlikely due to her age and physical condition, as well as the fact she wasn't simply gaining weight due to her birth control. She was pregnant. In fact, phentermine has warnings all over it about the risks for women who are pregnant. If a doctor had prescribed this to Alexee, it would be reasonable to think they would have done a pregnancy test first. According to Alexee, she had to.
Do we know that she went to a doctor? Or did her mom go to a weight loss clinic and get it for her? There's a lot of things that are going to come out in trial, and I have a feeling Rosa's going to be all over them.
No idea that she was pregnant. Alexee claimed she was on birth control. She was having regular menstrual cycles. She said she had never slept with anyone. However, at least one of these claims would prove to be false.
All of them. All of them. She's never slept with anyone. Okay, then why is your boyfriend in your bed every night? Why are you sleeping at your boyfriend's house? In the bed. Not just, got sleepy on the couch while you're watching My Cousin Vinny. You gotta be kidding me.
On January 26, 2023, Alexee went to her mother and told her that she was having extreme back pain. According to Rosa, Alexee had a long history of back and hip problems and saw a chiropractor regularly. However, this time the pain was so extreme that she took her daughter to the emergency room. Rosa and Alexee arrived at Artesia General Hospital around 11:47 p.m., and Alexee was formally admitted and given a bed just 15 minutes later. Now, when any woman of childbearing age is admitted to the hospital with lower back pain or abdominal pain, some of the first screener questions she will be asked is there any chance you are pregnant? And when was your last menstrual cycle? They asked me these same questions when I went in with a broken ankle. Alexee, whose mother was in the room at the time, told hospital staff that she was regular and that she had not been intimate with her boyfriend, Devin.
Initially taking her at her word, the hospital staff started an IV to administer pain meds at around 12:18 a.m. They also took blood to run labs at the same time. 10 minutes later, while still waiting for lab results, Alexee was given another stronger dose of meds, presumably because she was still in extreme pain. At 12:51 a.m., Alexee's lab results.
Maybe I'm in the minority here, okay? But when I was in labor, I'm like, bring me the drugs. Bring them. Give me something to take this edge off. I don't care what it is. Somebody bring it to me. But they're trying to say that the morphine, which is common to give to a woman in labor, very common, suppressed his breathing. No, what suppressed his breathing was a trash bag. Okay? Moon Diaries said, why was the boyfriend at the hospital? Yeah. And his mom and the stepdad, you think they're all going to show up because of lower back pain from constipation? No. They all knew she was going to have a baby. No, he's piling into the ER because someone's got a bad back. Bullshit. No.
Came back. They showed she absolutely was pregnant. And remember that Alexee told the hospital staff, as well as her mother, there was no possible chance she could be pregnant. Regardless, by 1 a.m., Alexee and Rosa both knew the truth. Pregnancy and extreme pain can mean a few different things. The medical staff needed to figure out whether or not Alexee was having a medical emergency such as an ectopic pregnancy, which can be fatal to both mother and baby. They needed to determine if she was possibly in labor or having a miscarriage or some other complication unrelated to her.
Okay, look, I do enjoy watching this show, The Misery Machine, but I'm really getting a kick out of this dude mansplaining it to us. Okay, ladies? Extreme pain and childbirth. No shit. No shit. Could be an ectopic pregnancy. No, not when your belly is as big as a watermelon. or 3 basketballs in my case. Okay, Paper Slut said he's taking notes here, Brooks. All right. We can walk you through it. At 9 months, at 38 weeks, there's no ectopic pregnancy. No. That's full-on childbirth. But I appreciate him saying this. Extreme pain in childbirth. Woo! Okay. Next, he's going to do a video about getting hit by a train.
Her pregnancy, for example, due to changes in hormones, women are at a higher risk of forming gallstones during their pregnancies.
At 1:39 a.m., Alexee got out of bed and quickly made her way to a bathroom down the hall with her hand reaching between her legs. Just 1 minute later, her mother knocked on the bathroom door to check on her. After waiting another 9 minutes, her mother knocked on the door again to see if she was okay. Alexee told her she was fine and was just having a difficult time going to the bathroom. Hospital staff also knocked on the door to see if she was okay at 1:53 a.m. and again 3 minutes later.
This body cam CCTV from the hospital shows how long she was in that bathroom. Okay? Shows how long she was in there. It is common for elderly people to go to the hospital when they are constipated. The only person that I know of that makes a deal out of being constipated is Candace Wells. And look at that. Y'all, it's raining in here. Look at this. Who all was gifted a membership? Beach One Day, John, Mama Bear, Mama Dukes, Perf. Look at you all. Get your umbrellas.
Alexee was telling them that she was fine, but they could hear the toilet flushing over and over, as well as the water running and paper towels being dispensed repeatedly.
Finally, a member of the staff told her that if she didn't open the door, they were going to unlock it. That person called for a key from the clerk, but as they were about to unlock it, Alexee opened the door on her own and exited the bathroom, walking calmly past the hospital staff to return to her room. As soon as she left the bathroom, staff members looked in and saw what was later described as, and I quote, blood everywhere, like a horror film. There was blood on the floor and on the toilet. It was splattered all over the walls and it had been smeared around in a clear attempt to clean it up. However, she did a terrible job because the blood was still visibly everywhere.
Okay, so when they finally get to the bathroom, okay, while I'm going through this, if you all could take a moment to hit the like button. She was covering up the crime scene. Blood splattered up the wall, all over the floor, on the toilet, smeared around the sink, on the paper towel dispenser. On the paper towel dispenser. She's flushing and flushing and flushing and flushing, smeared around. I can tell you right now, I guarantee they didn't use that bathroom the rest of the shift. They knew something horrible had happened in there, but no one in their right mind is going to think that she gave birth in that bathroom and threw the baby away. But they found out.
Alexee tried to explain that she was just on her period, as if what she did to the bathroom was some normal thing for her.
Oh, good God.
However, the reactions from hospital staff centered around two major concerns. Some of them were concerned that she had intentionally done something to herself and her baby. Others thought she may have experienced a horrific miscarriage. In fact, the nurse even claimed a doctor told Alexee directly that she must have suffered a miscarriage. The 19-year-old was still bleeding significantly. Some hospital staff claim she left a trail of blood from the bathroom to her exam room.
At 2:08 a.m., Leela, who worked as a housekeeper at the hospital, arrived to clean up the mess. She described the bathroom as, and I quote, a gory massacre. There was so much blood that she had to clean the entire bathroom twice. After about 20 minutes, Leela finally got around to emptying the bathroom trash. However, upon lifting the trash can, Leela immediately noticed there was something wrong. It was far too heavy. After all, it normally held things like used paper products and sanitary items. Initially, she thought perhaps a roll of trash can liners had been left in the bottom of the can. When she lifted out the trash bag, that is not what she found. Under the clean liner was another trash bag, wrapped tightly around a newborn baby boy. The bag was twisted shut and tucked under the baby's body before being placed back into the trash can.
What did the bag look like?
The bag was the original trash bag that was in there. It had trash in it. When I pulled it out, it was spun where it was tight, and then it was folded underneath the baby in there. So it was like a little capsule the baby was in. So when I had to tear that bag open to see the baby in the bottom. If you would look in the trash, I looked in there. When she told me, she was something. I looked. I said, "What are you talking about?" Because there was a clean liner in the trash bag.
So basically, he was in the bottom, trash on top of him,
and then another clean liner had been put on top. Yeah.
At this point, 30 minutes had passed since Alexee had left the bathroom. Upon seeing the baby in the bottom of the trash can, the charge nurse, H.D. Halliday, was called for immediately. He took the entire can to the trauma room across the hall and ripped the bag open to find Alexee's baby with absolutely no signs of life. Meanwhile, the ER doctor, Heather Marshall Vasquez, was preparing to do a pelvic exam on Alexee to try and determine the cause of all the blood. She insisted that the doctor accompany him to the trauma room immediately. Leaving Alexee, the two of them with an additional nurse who was not named went back to the trauma room. The baby boy was not breathing or moving at all, and his umbilical cord appeared to be shredded, like it had been torn apart. So there was a...
Okay, that was the question when we first started covering this case. How did she separate the cord? They said it's shredded. Some people speculate she used the serration on the paper towel dispenser. I don't see it because, let's face it, it's still connected to her. And it's up on the wall. The shredding of the cord they're talking about is her teeth. She gnawed on that. She was biting it until it was separated.
Fortunately, nothing that could be done, and the decision was made to not attempt to revive him. He was born after a full 38 weeks of pregnancy, weighing less than 6 pounds. He was pronounced dead at 2:28 a.m.
Once hospital staff realized the gravity of what was happening, they called the police. Luckily, the police were close by and arrived to talk with the hospital staff just 10 minutes later, according to their body cam footage. Upon arrival, the police were given a brief overview of what happened, and then accompanied the doctor and the charge nurse to inform Alexee what they had found.
Oh, and she was still in denial. Still in denial. Naughty McPoppin said, I cringe at the thought of what she had to do to cut that cord. This has been weighing on our minds with this case for, we're going on 3 years. Well, no, 2, sorry. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years over this weekend. Let me tell you what. You almost need a fucking torch to cut an umbilical cord. You're not going to use some little craft scissors and go through it. It's almost like wire cutters. Some surgical scissors don't even work. So part of her being in that bathroom for so long was her chewing that cord off. So think about it. She's got a baby. The cord is still connected to her. Still getting nutrients. Still getting everything that the baby would need when it's inside of her. But she starts chewing on the cord. To separate her child from her. Then she wraps him up, puts him in the trash can as she attempts to clean up the bathroom. When all she had to do was knock on the door and say, I figured out my back pain.
I'm sorry, we discovered a dead baby in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. It came out of me and I didn't know what to do.
Lexi, I told you about this.
I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth. It was not crying or nothing. What did you
Good old Rosa. Good old Rosa. Lexi, baby, I asked you to tell me the truth. Do your eyes not work? Here is Lexi. Did her mother not see this? Here's Lexi. She's clearly pregnant. Here's Lexi at a pep rally. She's clearly pregnant. I told you to tell me the truth. You didn't need her to tell you, Rosa. You could see she's pregnant.
do to it?
Okay, stop right here. Stop.
At this point, the doctor cut Rosa off and said that their first priority was making sure that Alexee was stable. Should be noted that Artesia General Hospital does not have a labor and delivery unit and is not equipped to appropriately assess whether or not Alexee needed further assistance delivering her placenta. They had already called for an emergency transport to Lovelace Hospital in Albuquerque, a roughly 3-hour and 40-minute drive over 240 miles away. However, while waiting for transport, it became clear that Alexee was not in critical condition or experiencing any sort of emergency situation. The hospital staff continued to monitor her blood pressure every few minutes, which is standard practice after childbirth. They also felt her stomach to check that her uterus was shrinking as it should to slow her bleeding, and they performed an ultrasound on her. According to a friend of ours that works in the labor and delivery field, if there was a genuine concern about a retained placenta, the nature of which she was being cared for would not have been so casual. Alexee waited in her room for nearly 2 hours to be airlifted to the other hospital. In the case of a retained placenta, hemorrhaging can happen very easily, usually within the first hour. Alexee was later found to have already delivered the placenta, and it was presumed that she flushed it down the toilet while she was still in the bathroom.
Alexee's mother, Rosa, appeared to be shocked and shaken by what was happening, and who could blame her, really? In video footage, you can see that she was most shocked when the nurse confirmed that the baby was full term.
Do you guys have, I'm the charge nurse here, do you guys have any questions for me?
Like, how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What?
Full term. Full term. The housekeeper, when she opened up the bag, because she was like, this bag is unusually heavy. She's used to like picking it up, throw it in the dumpster because it's just full of paper towels normally. But she's like, it's heavy. She said he had a full head of hair. Full head of hair. And I know there's a lot of questions about the school. They're like, why didn't they do anything? Because she's an adult. Everybody knew she was pregnant. She told her friends what she was going to name the baby. What? 9 months? Yes, Rosa. You know how long it takes to cook one in the oven? 9 months. Full head of hair, chubby cheeks, the whole 9 yards. Everything that a family would love to put in a crib and raise.
9 months? Nothing was crying. Let's see.
She's not even crying. Nothing was crying. Then we go into Rosa saying, have you watched the news of the girls that kill their babies and they go to jail?
Have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail? Nothing was crying.
Any other questions? Okay.
So as of right now, like I said, is we're gonna have the detectives come over here and they're gonna talk to you. Okay. We have to gather some more information about what's going on. They'll get your statement. They're gonna get the doctor's statements. They're gonna get everybody's statements. Okay. So I don't know everything yet. Okay. So I'm not gonna tell you. I can't tell you nothing honestly. Okay. All I can
But
say
she's
is
not gonna go to jail.
right now.
Does she not know?
Well, right now she's being detained. So she's not gonna leave from here at all. Period. Okay. So one of us will
Is
be
it in your custody? Like,
Yeah, she's detained. Yeah, she's not under arrest, but she is
Okay.
detained. Okay, she's not free to leave. So while this whole thing is coming up, you're not free to leave. Okay, one of us will be in here the whole time with you, because you're not going to try to leave or nothing like that.
Hence why law enforcement should be in the emergency room when a crime happens. Because sometimes the person on the gurney is the one that did the crime, as we're seeing right here. Nothing was crying. She's calling her son a nothing. Rosa is detached. What did you do to it? What did you do to it? What is going on with these damn grandparents? We've seen it in Harvey Montgomery's case. We've seen it in Quentin Simon's case. And now here we are with Alexee. What did you do to it? Really?
It would later come into contention that Alexee was never read her Miranda rights. However, she was not being questioned by police at any point before her transfer to Loveless Hospital. At one point, as Rosa was trying to ask Alexee questions, an officer even cuts her off. This appeared to be an attempt at stopping Alexee from saying anything incriminating. One common thread that kept coming up in the police interviews with hospital staff was the lack of concern that Alexee, Rosa, and even Devin had for what happened to the baby.
I was really surprised not one person asked me about the baby. If it was alive, if it was dead, if it was a boy, if it was a girl, no one asked me anything. Not even, she didn't even ask. No, she didn't ask. The only thing she started doing was crying and started talking about she didn't know what to do. There was no concern for the baby. No one asked me any questions about the baby. Not even the family members, when I went out there and talked to them, did they say, you know, normally people, I would think, would say, was it a boy, a girl? You know, no one asked me one question about the baby at all. Not one.
Okay. Does anyone find this to be a very important part of the nurse's testimony? When we told them that she had delivered a baby in the bathroom and put the baby in the trash can, no one asked, is it a boy? Is it a girl? How much did he weigh? Well, can we see him? He said, no one. And he said, I found that to be very odd. I think they all knew. Hence why they were all sitting in the emergency room, because no one's going to pile up in the emergency room at 11 o'clock at night for someone's damn backache. No. You don't ask what you already know. And you certainly don't ask what you don't give a shit about.
At 4:30 a.m., Alexee was allowed to leave the hospital. She was informed that she was no longer being detained and that detectives would be contacting her in the future. Initially, Alexee returned to her regular life. She went back to school, and friends later stated that both Alexee and Devin were acting like nothing had happened. They even attended prom just 12 weeks after the death of their baby.
An autopsy was performed on the baby boy, who was later referred to as Alex Fierro by the media. But the findings didn't align with what Alexee claimed to have happened in the hospital bathroom in the early morning hours of January 27th. The autopsy showed that the baby's lungs and stomach contained air, which is a sign that he had, in fact, tried to take a breath. He was found to be positive for the C19 virus that YouTube doesn't like us to mention, as well as influenza A and B, as well as severe acute respiratory syndrome. You may know it as SARS. The baby was found to have 19 nanograms of morphine in his system, as well as the appetite suppressant phentermine that Alexee had been taking. There was also signs of suffocation, and the cause of death was determined to be entrapment and ruled a homicide. According to the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So he had the diet pills in his system. Yes, there's going to be morphine in the system. Something about the flu. Well, he didn't die from the flu. He died. Cause of death, homicide. I'm sorry, cause of death, suffocation, entrapment. Manner of death, homicide.
Child health and human development. Entrapment, also known as wedging, is defined as when a baby's body or head gets stuck between two objects, such as between a bed frame and a wall. In this case, it could be deduced that little Alex died from being placed inside of the trash can.
On May 10th, 2023, 3 officers went to Alexee's home to arrest her for charges of first-degree homicide and tampering with evidence. Rosa was very resistant and argumentative with the officers, insisting that she had the right to Alexee's information despite her daughter being a legal adult. Alexee was eventually taken into custody without incident, and her bail was set at $100,000. She was later released and allowed to attend school as normal and graduate with her class. She was not required to wear an ankle monitor or be placed under house arrest. The only stipulation was that she was to attend counseling sessions and to adhere to a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. curfew.
Alexee's lawyer, Gary C. Mitchell, is currently trying very hard to work the system in Alexee's favor. His first course of action was to try to get all of the body cam footage thrown out as evidence, saying that it violated doctor-patient confidentiality privileges. He's also attempting to get a change of venue for her trial due to her case being widely known in the area. However, due to this case having some nationwide coverage, it would be unlikely that a change of venue would help this issue. Her lawyer is also trying to claim that the air in the baby's stomach and lungs were the result of her performing life-saving efforts, not the result of him breathing. They've also filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the hospital for administering pain medication to her while she was in labor, claiming these drugs resulted in the baby's inability to breathe when born.
Bullshit. I'd be suing the hospital if they didn't administer me pain medication while I was in labor. That is ridiculous. Okay? Ridiculous. Ladies, raise your hands. Don't be shy. That when you were in active labor, did you say, oh no, I'm just going to tough it out. I'm just going to tough it out. Nope, don't give me anything. Nope. No. Well, look at that. Blessed Mana has now become a new YouTube member. Welcome to the family. Check our community tab frequently. There's all kinds of updates and things like that. Walking Dead. What a trooper. Walking Dead. She had 2 epidurals. Okay. Britt, that's my kind of mama. Give me the drugs. Give me the drugs. Jovi, give me all the drugs you have. Empty it. Empty it. Come on, go to the worst part of town. Bring me something back chopped up on a mirror at this point. I don't care. I do not care. I didn't have anything with my 3rd child because, by then, the Michelin tire was a little looser.
These counterclaims highlight many moral and legal dilemmas in this case. It seems highly unlikely, based on the information available, that Alexee did not know she was pregnant. There are numerous photos of her in her cheering uniform which show that her weight gain couldn't have just been the result of her birth control or eating McDonald's with her boyfriend every day, as she later claimed. Her coach even asked her directly if she was pregnant, and she denied it. She simply said that she was just putting on weight. Now, as with all of these cases, we will hear people on both sides arguing that there is no way a person could be 38 weeks pregnant without feeling the baby kicking and rolling or noticing a change in their stomach. Others will claim that it is in fact possible.
But she was confronted by teachers, coaches, counselors, and all she kept talking about was, oh, I'm taking this new medication, it's making me gain weight. Well, it's not a crime to be pregnant or to gain weight, okay? This is not China. So they're not going to force her. They're not going to say, no, hold on, no, let me feel your belly. No. They made calls to Rosa. We're concerned about your daughter. She appears to be pregnant. And every time you turned around, they were denying it. They all knew. They all knew. But the family kept denying it.
Well, statistically, 1 in 2,500 pregnancies goes undetected until birth, meaning it is possible. However, the vast majority of these undetected pregnancies involve people who are already overweight to begin with, thus making the changes in their body less noticeable. However, there are always exceptions.
Another claim that was made by Alexee's lawyer was that she never had the birds and the bees talk at school.
Oh,
He
shut up.
stated that in this day and age, you have to grow up on a farm to get that type of education. Now, we will admit that New Mexico has some pretty abysmal state laws regarding this topic. New Mexico state curriculum is
Come on, don't parents turn that on? Don't parents talk to their children? Now it's the school's fault because they didn't teach Lexi that when she gets all greased up and naked with Devin, she could possibly have a baby. Don't we kind of figure that out at some point? I taught my kids about the birds and the bees. It was easy. I turned on Animal Planet. I said, so if you think about making that approach on a female, odds are there's going to be a baby monkey, a baby tiger, a baby cheetah born. In your case, a baby human. So don't do it. But now that they're older, I've had to reverse that talk. I'm like, you guys are all working, you own homes, you're married, so forget about the Animal Planet videos, please.
required to stress abstinence, and parents can request to remove their child from class. Now, this is a huge problem because it instills a sense of fear and shame around the topic and panic when teenagers find themselves unexpectedly pregnant. However, Alexee was 18 at the time she got pregnant with her baby. She claimed she was taking birth control. Clearly, she understood the consequences of being intimate with her boyfriend. She was attending public school. She was not sheltered in a homeschool situation or some other religious school.
And that is a great point. She's telling everyone, oh no, I'm just gaining weight from birth control. But then on the other hand, she's like, well, nobody at school told me that if you have sex, you get pregnant. I didn't know. Just my boyfriend made up this game. It's called Put the Eel in the Cave. And well, it's funny and it feels good. And I sweat a lot after, but I didn't know it'd make my belly big. Bullshit. No.
It seems highly unlikely that she just wouldn't know how babies are made. In addition, the nurses all agreed it seemed like Alexee had been lying to them from the start. Some even had suspicious conversations with her about the medication she was taking.
The ultrasound tech was in the room with her, asked if there was anything. She pretty much said, would there be any like bad outcomes if she had stopped taking one medication and stopped taking another? And I said, well, what medications are you talking about? She said, well, what would happen if I stopped taking birth control, started taking weight loss medications? And I was like, I don't know.
But for the sake of argument, let's just say that she genuinely did not know she was pregnant, or maybe didn't realize she was full term on January 27th when she was admitted. If you went to the bathroom, a very normal sensation as a baby's head enters the birth canal, why wouldn't you call out for help when the baby came out? Multiple people checked on her when she was in the bathroom. She lied every time, saying that she was okay and that she was just having trouble going to the bathroom. She had every opportunity to get help for that baby.
I don't even know what to say. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen women that are only married, or not married, but pregnant for 6 weeks, and they lose that baby, and they're a mess. You know what I mean? That girl went in that bathroom, made no sounds at all, and the baby came out of her. And I don't even know how she functioned that way. The only thing that upsets me the most is I understand she was scared, and I think her mother had a big dynamic on her, and I understand that. I mean, I think her mother was probably pretty controlling. I don't know that. I'm just speculation. But she gave me no chance to save that baby. I had no chance, and that's not what I do. My job is to save lives, and I had no chance on that baby. She gave me no chance.
No chance. Alexee gave the staff no chance to save her baby. No chance. And people can have extended abdomens for a lot of reasons. Hell, it could be gas. It could be ascites. It could be cancer. They have to prove it. They can't just speculate and say, hey, you look knocked up. Let's take you to labor and delivery. They have to have proof. They have to have blood work. They have to have urine. They knew. What they didn't know is that she was going to run down the hall, holding her ass, deliver her son, chew the cord off, and hide her son.
And we are a facility that you can drop the baby off, no questions asked. You can just leave the baby and go. I don't care, as long as you bring the baby to a safe. We are one of those type of hospitals, so it's hard to fathom what was going on in her mind.
Now, with the slew of things the baby boy would have tested positive for, it is very likely that he would have needed some assistance to breathe after being delivered. Unfortunately, Alexee never gave him that chance. Instead, she tore his umbilical cord to shreds, wrapped him tightly in a trash bag, and hid him underneath another trash bag. She tried to hide the evidence of what she had done, and then pretended like nothing had ever happened.
To our thousands of listeners who have struggled to get pregnant, lost a child, or suffered a miscarriage, this story is very hard to hear. Artesia General Hospital, along with other fire stations and hospitals, are safe places to leave an unwanted baby. It is estimated that there are over 1 million families in the United States waiting to adopt a baby. There is no shortage of homes waiting for a healthy baby like Alexee's. She certainly had the option to surrender her baby and was in a location where she could have done so.
And that is heartbreaking. Think about that. Again, she's not on a camping trip. She's not in the middle of the desert. She's at the hospital. I still think about, and I believe I played it on here, with Alexee's case. A fireman, I think in Orlando, correct me if I'm wrong, 16-year-old girl. Wrapped up her daughter. She's like, I'm ill-equipped. I can't take care of this baby. The fireman and his wife had been trying to have a child for 10 years. IVF, everything. All of it. Well, they adopted that little girl. She is spoiled. She is loved. She's getting ready to go to school. No. Loving homes are what these babies need. Trash cans, dumpsters, abuse, drug-addicted parents, what have you, they don't need.
Now we wait and see what this trial will bring. Just this year, another teen mom in New Mexico was sentenced in a similar case. Alexee Avila, a 19-year-old woman, was sentenced to a 16-year prison term after being convicted of attempted homicide after throwing her newborn baby out into an outdoor trash receptacle in January of 2020. In that case, the baby thankfully survived. So what will Alexee Trevizo be facing after her baby did not survive?
You'd think that
You want to hear the shits of the situation? You want to hear it? Put a 1 in if you want to hear the shits of the situation. The other woman they're talking about. 19 years old, threw her baby in the dumpster. We've done a show about her. She actually asked to be in the baby's life when she found out the baby survived. Are you kidding me? In New Mexico, and she, even though she's been sentenced, she is fighting for rights to the child that she threw in the dumpster. Now, I've heard of balls, okay? But audacity is totally different.
the cases of Alexee Avila and Alexee Trevizo are simply isolated incidents, but that couldn't be further from the truth. After all of this, tragedy struck yet again in New Mexico. On September 13th, 2023, officers with the Hobbs Police Department responded to a call from Covenant Health Hobbs Hospital in reference to a dead baby. That same day, a 16-year-old who has not been named, accompanied by her mother, was treated at the hospital. In an almost identical series of events, hospital staff later discovered a dead baby in the restroom area of the teenager's exam room. You've heard that correctly.
Copycats. Copycats. Well, I mean, if Alexee's going to get away with it, hell, I'll do it too. Hell, I'll just do it too. And what they're teaching these kids in school is disgusting. They don't have what we were raised with, okay? What we were raised with. That a baby in the belly is a baby, okay? It's not a lump of cells. It's not a blood clot. It's not all the things they say. It is a child. Now, I'm not saying it's going to come out with a lunch pail ready to go to kindergarten. But they're so disassociated. And I go back to what they're teaching kids in school.
In the last 20 months, 3 babies have been found either dead or alive in a dumpster or hospital bathroom in New Mexico. So what the hell is going on? Now, it should be noted that according to the New Mexico Department of Health, a woman's right to choose is completely legal. Anyone 13 years of age or older can legally end their pregnancies without permission from their parents. As Alexee was 18 years old when she got pregnant, she wouldn't have had any issue obtaining services if that's what she chose to do. The same goes for Alexee Avila and this unnamed 16-year-old. Now, a lot of things need to change so that we don't continue to see babies discarded like trash. A lot of things need to change so that we
breaks my heart because she's crying. Okay. She's upset. She's crying. Her and her husband, and I don't even want to picture them getting it on. They're having a hard time conceiving.
don't continue to see babies discarded like trash. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to cut this out. Outside of the laws that vary state to state regarding a woman's right to choose, we need better education in classrooms and medically accurate curriculums that are taught in all health classes nationwide. We need better access to birth control and emergency contraception in all states. And finally, parents need to be more open to talking to their kids about intimacy and pregnancy. This is a normal part of life. It is not something shameful. If your teenager finds themselves in this situation, they shouldn't feel like they need to hide it from you. Life happens, and they shouldn't be scared of you.
To be clear, we think it's pretty unlikely that Alexee planned for this to happen. If her plan was to deliver her baby that night and kill him, it seems unlikely she would even request to go to the hospital. It just doesn't make logical sense, but sometimes people do extreme things when they panic. However, all she had to do was deliver her baby, turn him over to staff, and walk away, at no cost to herself or any danger of legal trouble. She chose not to do that. Rest in peace, baby Alex. You deserved far better than this. You deserved to have a chance.
Absolutely. She had a choice. Again, knock on the door. I had a baby. I don't want my family to know. I'm 18. I don't want them to know. Don't bring it up. Don't talk about it. Nothing. Well, this is a little off topic, but not quite. Do you guys want to see a good mother? A good mother that's going to break your heart. Anybody want an off topic? Put a 1 in here if you're like, yeah, I would love to have something uplifting and have a good old off topic, Brooks. Look at that. Mirror Camp said yes. Real Rockin' Robin, yes. Nani, okay, here we go. Even Paper Slut said yeah. Yes, here we go. This is from Inside Edition. This puppy dog carried her puppy to the veterinarian to get her puppy some help. You see, it is such a, I'm going to say, animalistic instinct that we have to protect our own. Okay? Paper Slut said I was going to show a video of me babying OJ. We'll do that over the weekend. He had a lot of babying yesterday. But let's look at a good mama. Okay? A good mama.
This very smart dog knew exactly where to go when she needed help. A surveillance camera outside a veterinary clinic in Istanbul, Turkey, shows a mother dog carrying a puppy in her mouth. She probably said, "There is help here." Gently, the dog lowered the puppy to the ground as a technician stepped in to help. According to the clinic, the puppy was cold and not breathing, but a technician noticed a faint heartbeat. As medical staff worked to help the puppy, the mama dog stayed nearby. A hair.
Look at that. The mama dog stayed nearby and watched them resuscitate her baby. Then you have Alexee that is right there in the hospital, and all she had to do was say, hey, even if she's being selfish, you know, how she needs help because she's in pain. But she didn't.
worked to help the puppy. The mama dog stayed nearby. A hairdryer was employed to warm the puppy, and a shot of adrenaline helped stimulate the heart. Vets say mom arrived with her baby just in time. He was revived and is now thriving with his sibling. Dr. Dogan says all three of them are getting better day by day. The compassionate veterinarians aren't sure how she knew this clinic was a safe place to bring her puppy. What they do know is that this dog's mothering instincts helped save her puppy's life. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm TC Newman.
I'm going to watch this again because it's making me cry. It's a good cry, though.
Smart dog knew exactly where to go when she needed help. A surveillance camera outside a veterinary clinic in Istanbul, Turkey, shows a mother dog carrying a puppy in her mouth. She probably said, "There is help here." Gently, the dog lowered the puppy to the ground as a technician stepped in to help. According to the clinic, the puppy was cold and not breathing, but a technician noticed a faint heartbeat. As medical staff worked to help the puppy, the mama dog stayed nearby. A hairdryer was employed to warm the puppy, and a shot of adrenaline helped stimulate the heart. Vets say mom arrived with her baby just in time. He was revived and is now thriving with his sibling. Dr. Dogan says all three of them are getting better day by day. The compassionate veterinarians aren't sure how she knew this clinic was a safe place to bring her puppy. What they do know is that this dog's mothering instincts helped save her puppy's life. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm TC Newman.
Sad day in the world when a dog has better maternal instincts than Alexee. Or Leilani Simon. Or any of them. Sonia Allen said, now that is a mother. You're exactly right. That is a mother. Well, you guys are the absolute best. Wonderful mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, not talking to you, OJ, grandparents, the whole 9 yards, and most importantly, to me at least, friends. Friends. So I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Put a smile on someone's face. You put a smile on mine today. And if I don't see you over the weekend for a members live, then I certainly will see you Monday morning. If you can, please leave me an after show comment, hit the like. If you're listening on the replay or in the bushes, consider subscribing because, well, we're live every day at 9 a.m. Central. You guys are the absolute best. Don't forget it.